Summary Book. The Lean Startup by Ries. Introduction. Ries defines a startup as any human institution designed to create a new product or service under conditions of extreme uncertainty. A startup's success or failure is determined not only by the product they build but by how well they learn from their customers. In the traditional approach to building a business, the emphasis is on upfront planning and long development cycles. In contrast, the lean startup emphasizes flexibility, quick testing, and iterative improvement. The lean startup methodology is a scientific approach to building and managing startups, which uses validated learning, rapid experimentation, and data-driven decision-making to accelerate the development cycle. Key principles and concepts. 1. Start small, think big. Minimum viable product MVP. One of the core ideas of the lean startup is that startups should begin by creating an MVP. The MVP is the simplest version of a product that allows entrepreneurs to collect validated learning with the least amount of effort. Purpose. It isn't to launch a perfect product but to test whether the core assumptions of the business are valid. The MVP is a tool for testing hypotheses. Examples. Dropbox started with a simple video demonstrating how the product would work before building out the entire system. Similarly, Zappos began by taking photos of shoes from local stores and posting them online to see if there was demand before investing in inventory. Why MVP? The MVP is critical because it gets you feedback from real customers, much earlier in the process, and provides evidence for or against your assumptions. This enables you to save time and resources by preventing you from building unnecessary features or products that no one wants. 2. Build, measure, learn. Feedback loop. This is the central operating principle of the lean startup methodology. It's a cycle that promotes constant iteration. Build. Start by building a minimum viable product, which is a simplified version of the product with just enough features to start testing. Measure. Use metrics to track how customers respond to the product. This includes both quantitative e.g., click-through rates, sign-ups, and qualitative e.g., customer feedback, surveys data. Learn. Analyze the data and see if your initial assumptions hold true. Did customers actually want the product? Was the product addressing their needs? This loop helps you validate or invalidate hypotheses, which prevents you from investing in products or features that no one wants. Pivot or persevere. After learning, startups face a decision. Do they pivot, change direction, or persevere, keep refining the current direction? This decision is guided by the data collected from MVPs and customer feedback. 3. Validated learning. The concept of validated learning is crucial because it replaces traditional business planning with scientific experimentation. Traditional business plans rely on assumptions about customer needs, but these assumptions can be wrong. Instead of guessing what customers want, validated learning uses direct feedback from real customers to validate or reject hypotheses about your business model. Learning milestones. Instead of focusing on vanity metrics like sales or website traffic, startups should track progress using learning milestones. These milestones are evidence that customers are engaging with the product, providing feedback, and moving towards adoption. Example, a key learning milestone might be getting 100 real customers who use the product regularly rather than just collecting a lot of sign-ups or clicks. 4. Innovation accounting. Innovation accounting is a system for measuring progress in a startup. Traditional financial metrics e.g., revenue, profit are not always useful when a startup is still early in its life cycle, so Ries proposes a different way to track progress. Innovation accounting focuses on measuring validated learning, the impact of MVPs, and the iteration process. Using actionable metrics. Metrics must be actionable, meaning they can guide decision-making. If a metric can't influence future actions, it isn't helpful. Cohort analysis. One effective approach is cohort analysis, where you track different groups of customers' cohorts who experience the product at different times to compare how well it's performing over time. Innovation accounting helps entrepreneurs make data-driven decisions and figure out whether they need to change their approach or continue scaling. 5. Pivot or persevere. Once you've built an MVP and gathered some data, you need to decide whether the product is heading in the right direction or if a significant change is needed. This is where the idea of pivoting comes into play. Pivoting involves making a fundamental change in your product or business model based on insights derived from testing and feedback. It doesn't mean giving up on the idea, it means adjusting to better meet customer needs or fix problems that have become evident. Persevering means staying the course. If you gather sufficient evidence that your product is on the right path, you can continue improving and scaling. Example, Instagram initially started as a location-based check-in app similar to Foursquare but pivoted into a photo-sharing app when they noticed that users were primarily using it to share photos. 6. Lean thinking and reducing waste. Lean thinking, originally developed by Toyota, emphasizes eliminating waste and focusing on adding value. In the startup world, waste refers to time, spending months or years building a product before getting customer feedback. Money, investing large amounts of capital in features or products that customers don't value. Energy, focusing on activities that don't contribute directly to validating your business assumptions. The goal is to reduce waste by focusing on the smallest viable product that can test your most critical assumptions with the least amount of effort. Key lean principles: just-in-time development, focus only on the features necessary to test your hypothesis. Continuous improvement, iterating quickly and improving the product over time, not waiting for perfection. Customer development, engage with customers early in the process to ensure you're building a product that they want, not what you think they need. 7. Continuous deployment and A/B testing. Continuous deployment (CD) is a software development practice where updates and improvements are pushed to customers frequently, often multiple times a day. By using continuous deployment, startups can rapidly test new features and improvements and gather real-time feedback. A/B testing or split testing is the process of testing two or more variations of a product or feature with different segments of customers to see which version performs better. This helps entrepreneurs make data-driven decisions instead of relying on gut instinct. Example, A/B testing might involve testing two different versions of a landing page to see which one leads to more sign-ups or purchases. 8. Build a sustainable business. Once your product achieves product-market fit, when you've confirmed that there's strong demand for your product, you can begin focusing on scaling. This is the stage when the startup transitions from experimentation to execution. However, even at this stage, the startup should continue to embrace a feedback-driven approach. Success does not mean completely abandoning the lean startup methodology. Testing, learning, and adapting remain central to growth. Key focus during scaling: customer acquisition. Refine your marketing and customer acquisition strategies based on real data. Operational scaling: as the business grows, invest in infrastructure, systems, and processes to handle increased demand. Organizational scaling: ensure that the team remains adaptable, and new team members understand the startup culture of learning and iteration. Conclusion: Ries concludes that the lean startup methodology is about embracing uncertainty, testing assumptions rigorously, and learning from failure rather than avoiding it. The scientific approach to building startups allows for faster validation of business ideas, reducing the risk of investing significant resources in a product that will fail. Startups that apply lean startup principles can optimize their chances of success by being flexible, adaptable, and data-driven, rather than relying on traditional business planning methods that can be inefficient and outdated. Key takeaways: start with an MVP, get something out quickly, test it, and gather feedback. Measure real customer behavior, validate hypotheses through data, not assumptions. Focus on validated learning, not traditional business metrics. Pivot or persevere, use data to decide whether to change course or keep going. Iterate and improve, continuously test and refine the product based on customer feedback. The Lean Startup provides a comprehensive, practical framework for creating startups in uncertain environments and is applicable not just for tech companies, but for any entrepreneur or organization looking to innovate quickly and efficiently.